So welcome to Muffins on Tuesdays. My name is Matt.
And I'm Mike.
And this is the first ever list on our channel.
So I don't know about you guys, but I've been thinking a lot about my childhood lately. Some of the top things that come to mind are watching All That on Saturday nights on Nickelodeon and playing Pokemon Blue version in my best friend's treehouse.
I remember my father beating me. So it's our pleasure to bring you our top 5 things from your childhood that you probably won't remember right away. Before we get into this list, I want to crack it off with a couple of honorable mentions that didn't quite make it.
Well, we got a lot of collector's items, Crazy Bones, Tech Deck Dudes, those things were awesome. Didn't quite make the top 5, but pretty close. There were also some great TV shows that no one really seems to remember anymore. Arthur, Magic School Bus, just to name a few. Great shows. Watched Arthur every day before I went to school. Changed my life.
I'd also like to throw in there a lot of computer games too. Like, a lot of people remember the N64 games, like Super Smash Bros. And GoldenEye, of course. Like, those are the obvious choices from your childhood, but a lot of people forget, like, the Backyard Sports Series. Like, that was my shit. I still play backyard football, like, to this day. I'll admit it.
Guilty.
Guilty. Right here, this guy. Number 5, the I Spy book series.
Now this is actually the item that inspired me to think of this list. I can't tell you the impact this had on my life. Our school would have readathons, where you're supposed to read stuff, really. I would just bring the I Spy books. I'd look at the pictures. Great stuff. They made computer games about I Spy. I don't know if any of you guys knew that. My friend had one of them, and we'd go over and spy things all the time. It was a lot of fun.
Even to this day, like, opening one of these is still a fucking adventure. Like, even for us, there's colors everywhere as soon as you open this thing. Like, and I mean, it's a nice break for us because we're used to, like, college textbooks by now, and it's just, like, bland, boring, old shit. They need to make, like, an I Spy 101 at school. Like, I would fucking ace that shit. Number 4, Lunchables. Having Lunchables for lunch was probably one of the coolest experiences of my childhood, because the second you pull it out of the bag, you're automatically the coolest kid at that table, no matter where you're sitting. And here's why. Your parents trusted you to handle the assembly part of your lunch. All these other kids with their peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, they weren't cool, because their parents had to make it for them. Now, you having your own Lunchable, you could walk up to somebody and be like, oh, what do you got here? A piece of bread, some pasta sauce, mozzarella cheese, and pepperoni slices? I have the technology to make that a pizza. Bitch!
The thing that I really loved about Lunchables too was that you were given these specific proportions, but you didn't have to make it evenly. What I'd usually do with my Lunchables pizzas, second one, no cheese, third one, double cheese. Crazy, right? And I wasn't really the coolest kid at school, but when I had Lunchables, I knew all the kids were looking at me like, what are you doing? Like, oh, check out those tacos. That artificial meat looks so good.
Number 3, Capri Sun / short-lived carbonated beverages. The 1-2 combination of Lunchables and Capri Sun together was untouchable in the late 90s, early 2000s. You could not beat these guys because kids recognized them. Oh, I get to make my own food and you're giving me 8 ounces of the best drink I've ever tasted.
I think it was much less than 8 ounces.
It was probably less. Like, I played Little League a lot when I was a kid, and after every game, it would be one parent's job to bring a snack and a drink for the kids. And what the snack was doesn't matter. But the drink was always Capri Sun. And the best part about it was, too, is that some kids were polite and they would only take one, which means there were lots of extras. If you just got done playing a Little League baseball game, you're thirsty as shit. I would crush 6 or 7 of them, easily.
The problem with drinking 6 or 7 Capri Suns is that you'd finish and you'd be more thirsty than you were when you started. Like, those things did not quench your thirst at all. But they were so delicious it didn't even matter. There were a lot of other drinks too that played a huge part of my childhood. Growing up, I was a huge pop connoisseur. Like, every time I'd go to the gas station, because it was really cool to go to the gas station when you were 12. You could go on your own, you'd pick out whatever you wanted. It was great. So I'd go, and every time I saw a new pop, like, gotta try it, right? Mountain Dew Code Red and Livewire. I remember Livewire came out and it was only supposed to be a summer promotional item, but everyone loved it so much and it was so great that they brought it back permanently. Livewire was where it was at. It was probably, I think, the first Mountain Dew drink that actually tasted good. Sorry, Mountain Dew fans. DNL, if you guys don't remember that, it was 7-Up's carbonated beverage, turn your taste buds upside down, I believe the motto was. Really delicious, lime lemon flavored instead of lemon lime flavored. Go figure.
Number 2, keychains.
When I was making this list, one of the first things that came to mind is that I should pick items that my elementary school actually had to ban because they were so popular. Kids would get in fights over keychains, they'd steal keychains from each other, they'd make bad keychain trades. We'd have kids come into school with like 100 keychains on their backpack. Like, I didn't even know how they'd fit. My parents wouldn't let me buy a bunch of keychains because they thought it was too expensive, so I was the dorky kid who was coming in with 2 keychains. I don't know if you guys remember Digimon. Another great thing for this list. As far as keychains go, there was a huge pop culture reference in Digimon. One of the final bosses, he was a magician type guy, and his power, he would turn the kids and their Digimon into keychains. And it gets better. Turns them into a keychain, holds the keychain up to the camera and says, "This will look great on my backpack." Now when a little kid fad is making it onto a show like Digimon in a horribly punny way like this, you know it's something big.
Number 1, Pokemon cards.
So now, I know what you're thinking, like, Mike, Matt, come on, Pokemon cards? Pokemon cards were huge in our childhood, everyone had Pokemon cards. But that's the thing, like, everyone did have Pokemon cards, but when you look back and think about Pokemon, no one thinks about the cards anymore. Everyone thinks about Blue and Red version, and to a slightly lesser extent, Gold and Silver version, which were equally awesome.
My parents didn't let me have as many Pokemon cards as I wanted to, but I had friends who were literally obsessed. Like, I had friends that turned albino because they just were literally inside trading cards all day and figuring out strategies. Personally, I never really understood how to play the game. I would just like throw out a Pokemon, and my friend would throw out a Pokemon, and we'd go, scratch, tackle, scratch, tackle, scratch, tackle, scratch, I win! I went first, bitch! I know kids from the 90s would not have known what protective sleeves in a binder. They would not have had those if it hadn't been for Pokemon cards.
You'd get a pack of Pokemon cards, and they had the energy cards in them, and I'm like,
completely
Matt,
useless.
I had no idea what the energy cards were for. Like, you know, you just throw all of your lightning energy cards into one sleeve, and it would be bulging out this far. I found a Pokemon card face down on the ground. Japanese holographic Gengar. What? I know, right? Crazy. So I look it up online. Pretty tech savvy for an 8-year-old, I know. I look it up online. It's one of the rarest Pokemon cards out there. So I was ecstatic. And then 2 weeks later, my friend tricked me into trading it to him. So much controversy came from that one trade. I had plenty of other Pokemon card trades that backfired in my face, or trades where I'd screw another kid over. I still see people's binders filled with Pokemon cards, and they always say the same thing, like, I just want to save them because they'll be worth a lot of money someday. And I'm
You're
like,
lying to yourself.
yeah, save it. Like, it's fine. I'm not going to judge you. He's not going to judge you. Some people might judge you, but they're douches. And with that's our list.
Top 5 things from your childhood that you probably will not remember
Yeah.
right away.
If you have other things that were not put on the list, things that you think should have been put on the list, please let us know. This is the list of things that you wouldn't remember right away, so it's very plausible that we didn't remember it right away. So yeah, comment box is right there. And yeah,
Like, favorite, subscribe, all that good stuff.
do it.
Also be on the lookout. We're going to be posting a couple trial run album reviews. Just to give you guys an idea of what to expect in the future from us, we picked a couple albums from 2011 that we thought were highlights, and we're going to be telling you what we think about them.
So we'll see you next time.